Across thousands of years, certain images continue reappearing through mythology, ritual, dreams, religion, folklore, and modern witchcraft. People continue drawing them, wearing them, meditating on them, protecting themselves with them, often without fully understanding why. And what makes these symbols fascinating is not simply that they survived, it's that human beings continue responding to them emotionally, across cultures, across centuries, across entirely different belief systems. Because symbols are rarely random, they carry memory, fear, transformation, identity. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why some of the symbols still appearing in modern witchcraft today may actually reflect ancient psychological truths human beings never stopped recognizing. Welcome to Magen and Moon, where mythology, sacred symbols, archetypes, and the hidden meanings beneath ancient stories are explored through a more cinematic lens. If you're drawn to symbolism, forgotten mythology, tarot, dreams, and the deeper layers hidden beneath ordinary life, subscribe and join us here. Few symbolic objects have unsettled human beings as consistently as mirrors. Today, mirrors feel ordinary, but for most of human history, clear reflections were rare. Still water, polished obsidian, dark metal surfaces. Reflection itself once felt mysterious. And across cultures, mirrors repeatedly became associated with spirits, omens, the soul, memory, death, and hidden selves. Some traditions covered mirrors after death to prevent souls from becoming trapped. Others believed mirrors could act as thresholds between worlds. And mirrors became deeply tied to divination traditions, especially in forms of scrying, where reflective surfaces were used in attempts to access hidden knowledge, visions, or spiritual insight. Even in modern witchcraft, black mirrors remain tools associated with meditation, shadow work, ritual, and self-confrontation. Psychologically, this makes sense. Mirrors force awareness. They create distance between you and yourself. And perhaps that is why mirrors continue carrying symbolic power, because reflection itself remains psychologically unsettling. One of the most recognizable symbols in modern witchcraft is the triple moon, waxing moon, full moon, waning moon. A symbol associated with cycles, intuition, transformation, and feminine archetypes. Human beings have observed the moon for tens of thousands of years. Before modern calendars existed, the moon became one of humanity's oldest systems for measuring time. Planting cycles, tides, religious observances, navigation. Its phases shaped human life constantly, and over time, the moon became associated with dreams, mystery, magic, night, and emotional transformation. In modern witchcraft, the triple moon often represents the cyclical nature of existence itself: growth, fullness, decline, renewal. It frequently appears on altar tools, ritual candles, jewelry, grimoires, and protective symbols. And psychologically, its endurance may reflect something deeply human: the awareness that identity itself moves in cycles too. The labyrinth is one of humanity's oldest symbolic pathways. Unlike a maze, a labyrinth contains only one path: no tricks, no dead ends. Just a winding journey inward and back out again. Versions of labyrinth symbols appeared in ancient Greece, Roman mosaics, medieval cathedrals, Norse carvings, and spiritual traditions across centuries. The most famous mythological labyrinth appears in Greek mythology: the Labyrinth of the Minotaur beneath Crete. But symbolically, the labyrinth evolved far beyond mythology. Over time, it became associated with spiritual journeys, initiation, transformation, self-discovery, and confronting the unknown. Even now, modern witches and spiritual practitioners use labyrinth walking as a meditative or ritual practice, a symbolic journey inward. And psychologically, the symbol remains powerful because it reflects something universal. Human beings often feel lost before transformation begins. One of the oldest symbols humanity ever created is the Ouroboros, a serpent consuming its own tail. Versions appeared in ancient Egypt, alchemy, Gnosticism, Greek philosophy, and mystical traditions throughout history. The image is simple, but symbolically, it became associated with cycles, rebirth, renewal, self-destruction, eternity, and transformation. A beginning becoming an ending becoming a beginning. In alchemy, the Ouroboros represented transformation through dissolution. The idea that something old must break apart before something new can emerge. Even in modern witchcraft, the symbol frequently appears in ritual art, protective sigils, altar symbolism, tattoos, and transformation rituals. Because psychologically, human beings repeatedly experience life through cycles of ending and renewal. And the Ouroboros transforms that frightening reality into symbolic meaning. Few symbols are as ancient or as psychologically powerful as keys. Across mythology, religion, and occult traditions, keys became associated with hidden knowledge, thresholds, initiation, protection, and access to the unseen. In ancient traditions, keys symbolized authority over sacred spaces. Over time, they became connected to mystery traditions, underworld myths, crossroads symbolism, and spiritual gateways. Figures like Hecate became associated with keys because of their connection to thresholds and liminal spaces. Even now, keys remain deeply embedded in modern witchcraft symbolism. They are used in ritual jewelry, altar tools, spell work, protection rituals, and symbolic initiations. A key represents possibility, access, crossing from one state into another. And psychologically, that symbolism remains powerful because human beings constantly encounter thresholds throughout life. Moments where one identity ends and another begins. And maybe that is why these symbols continue surviving even now. Not because every symbol contains literal supernatural power, but because symbols shape human perception emotionally, psychologically, and culturally. They externalize fears, transformation, identity, protection, mystery. And symbols that survive across generations often survive because they continue describing experiences human beings still recognize inside themselves. Which may be the real reason these ancient symbols continue appearing in modern witchcraft. Because long after cultures change, technology changes, and societies evolve, human beings remain symbolic creatures. And certain images continue returning because something inside people still responds to them. If you enjoyed this exploration into symbols still appearing in modern witchcraft and the deeper meanings hidden beneath them, like this video and subscribe to Magen and Moon for more videos on sacred symbols, mythology, archetypes, dreams, tarot, and the unseen meanings woven throughout human history. And if there's another symbol or myth you'd like explored next, leave it in the comments below. Until next time, pay attention to the symbols that continue returning. They usually survive for a reason.